right. We are just getting started and I'm not on Wi-Fi. Hi. Good to see you here. Um, so I didn't know how, I didn't even actually honestly think about Wi-Fi until like just started to set this up. Um, Thankfully I am just like, I don't know, maybe 30 feet from the house. And so we do have a Wi-Fi booster in the back of the house. So I'm hoping that this will go well. Um, I see you comment all the time, Love Garden. What's your name? So I like know who I'm talking to, because that would be great. And where are you at? Because of course I'm in Arkansas. And let me adjust this. I wanted to change the orientation to be like horizontal, but I don't guess it'll let me. It said something about advanced settings. Wow, I can even do like a filter on my face. Isn't that crazy? Well, um, so I did plan a couple of things to work on while we do this video and while we chat. Just one, in case nobody shows up, but also just to kind of like one, like I'm a busybody. I've got to be productive. If the conversation takes us away, then wonderful. I'm open to talking about anything. So if you guys have any questions for me, garden related, life related, freelance, bookkeeping, just literally whatever, I'm game. Ask away. Um, so, and I really want to start out by saying, like, every time I come in my greenhouse, you guys, I'm like overwhelmed with gratitude. I freaking love this tiny little greenhouse. I feel like it is the perfect size. Of course, I have it almost packed full already, which it is to be expected in the spring, because a lot of this stuff's going to move out. And then one thing I used to always forget every year, I start all these seed trays, and I'd have like whatever space I was using for a greenhouse like plumb full, and then when it was time to like pot things up and everything like quadrupled in the space they took up, I would never have enough room. So I'm thankful I have some empty shelves here that things can kind of grow into, which is great. I am starting more seeds, which I'll probably do today in this video while we're together. I don't know if I will start all these because I only have like half a bag of seed starting mix in here with me right now, and I don't want to leave you guys to go and fetch that. In fact, I don't even know where that other bag is. So yeah, but then also my banana trees came in the mail. You guys, I ordered these on Amazon. Can you believe that? You can get anything on Amazon these days. And they came like shaped like this. Let me show you. They're just kind of like leaning. I think that's from the shipping, but we'll see. But anyways, this is a variety. I'll try to remember to like note it down in the description. I'm sure I'll do several videos about these this year because I'm really stoked about the potential for these. But these are a variety of banana trees that they fruit within like 90 to 120 days. So most banana trees are not perennials in zone 7 where I live, and so you can't really grow them unless you're zone 8 or 9 or 10. But if you do, they need to be in big containers and brought in over winter. I know some people locally here in our county who grow banana trees to fruit, and they bring them in, and then others grow them as just ornamentals and they leave them in their lawn. So they will perennialize and they'll come back every year, but they won't fruit. And I want them to fruit because wouldn't that be so fun to like grow bananas? So the thing about these guys, that since they fruit and produce mature fruit within like 90 to 120 days, is they're little bananas. So like there'll be multiple clusters, and each cluster will have like 4 to 6 bananas, but the bananas will be about this long. So I'm really excited about that. So you can see these guys are really small, and what I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to pot these guys up in a pot that's kind of like, not kind of like, but this one. I'm just going to put them all 4 in there together. And because where I want these to go, I got these to go in front of our new deck. by our pool, and my husband's not done building the deck yet. And so, and I'm obviously not, still with my recovery, I'm still not in the shape to like be squatting and digging and stuff. And so like all of the plants that we're transplanting and moving from out of the shade garden that are going to go back in front of the deck, my husband has moved everything that needed to be moved, and they're all just kind of like living in the cottage garden raised beds right now. So, you said you have a very, ooh, that sounds pretty. Well, thank you for saying I look amazing. I feel good. I feel really good. So I'm 33 or 34 days post-op, and my videos that I've been sharing about my tummy tuck journey and everything are behind, obviously. And so I think the next one I'm going to be putting out is in like a day or two, maybe even today if I can finish getting it edited, but it's for week 2. But anyways, I'm doing pretty good. I just still have a lot of swelling, which is common when you have liposuction, which I was just telling my husband last night. I honestly, because I had researched like a tummy tuck and thigh lift for so many years, I didn't do any like recent research about like post-op care. And I didn't even think about the fact that he was going to be doing liposuction, because he said he would do like a little liposuction on my legs. And he did a lot of liposuction. So that is why my recovery has been so intense, is because when liposuction is really hard on your body, it's actually easier for your body to recover from removing a chunk of skin on your stomach than it is, they stick that wand in there and they just really just beat the hell out of you. So I'm still very swollen in my legs from the liposuction, which causes swelling in my knees, which means I can't squat. I can't do a lot of bending. And then my left leg is worse. I'm guessing because he did more on that side. And so it causes swelling in my left knee and ankle. So I have like a permanent cankle on my left side. But I feel fine. It's just there's limited mobility because of stuff like that. But anyways, one thing too, I had asked you in the beginning what your name was and where you're from, because your YouTube thing says Love Garden, which me too. But I was just wondering, because I see you comment all the time and I really appreciate you. So yeah, so these banana trees, I'm just going to get them in a pot here. This one, so that they will just chill. They're just going to chill in the greenhouse until my husband gets the deck done. I'm trying to be really patient with him on that. My husband has a whole lot going on, although I love things done right now. Oh, you're in Florida? Wow, you can grow a lot there. I used to follow a lot of garden channels that were located in Florida because they were zone 9 like we were in Arizona. And yeah, it's like tropics down there. Very cool. You've been a subscriber since I first started. Is that like weird? Like, my life is so different now than it was then. And I think about that quite often. Primarily because of YouTube. YouTube is the one thing that ties me to my past, because I can think about where I started. And like I was telling, I have like a business mentor that I recently hired in the last month. And I was talking to her about my YouTube channel and how when I first started in Arizona, I told her it was really significant to me on my personal development journey, because I started YouTube when I started gardening. And so I didn't know how to garden. I started YouTube with like, watch me try to figure this out kind of mentality. I wasn't trying to be educational or helpful or anything, because I didn't know anything. But I was just having a lot of fun playing around and doing, different things. And I told her, I said, I had a really small audience when I first started, of course, as everybody does. But that I was in real estate, so I had a lot of time freedom. And I would go out into my garden every morning and I would do things and just literally film and bring everybody along every single day. And I did probably 5 or 6 videos a week because I really loved doing it and I had the time to do it. And I told her, I said, the videos would be about the most random things. Like, of course we have plant hauls and pruning and like garden tours and whatever. But then also it would be like, I'm just going to do this thing, and that those videos would get like 1,000 to 1,500 views of people just watching me just figure things out, I guess. And so it's funny, we were talking about that just yesterday. But now here we are. Life is so much better in so many ways. It's crazy. Those I miss those pomegranate trees. I've actually tried to grow pomegranate here in Arkansas. Although I don't eat the fruit. I don't like them. But I love growing everything. Um for me, gardening is like the love of the doing. To me, it feels like a really like spiritual practice and like communing with Mother Nature. And like I feel like I have little relationships with every single one of these little plants. You know, and we're just watching, we're taking care of them and we're watching them grow and stuff. But I grow a lot of things I won't eat because I know I don't like them, but I love like nurturing and fostering the plant. But when we did that, we tried to put in an orchard over this way. I'm sure you probably don't know the orientation of kind of where we're at, but we have the house on this side. We're in the cottage garden. If we keep going back this way, we head out towards our big side yard, which is where my husband has his in-ground garden. And then way beyond that is where I had my original cottage garden that I spent 2 years putting together. And then beyond that, it was my big in-ground garden from 2022. So between here, the house, and my husband's in-ground garden, we have a huge yard there. And we tried to do like a mini orchard there 2 years in a row. But it's so far, like it was so far away we couldn't hand water. Like we didn't think of that back then. I think that was probably 2020 and 2021. But we tried 3 different nut trees. We tried pomegranate. We tried one of those weird fruit trees. It's like a mixture of 2 different ones, like a kumquat and something else. They all died. Every single one of them died. And then eventually we put, I put a cypress tree out there for my husband. They're his favorite kind of tree. And they love water. And we had a spot in the yard that naturally dips because years ago when he was a kid, there was a little shop out there. And I guess next to the shop was, I think he said they had like a pig there or something and would kind of like root and cause a dip. And when they took out the shed, there was just a natural dip there still. And so when it rains, that holds water. And so we planted that cypress tree right in the middle of it. It's been there now probably at least 3 years and it's thriving. It's doing great, which is awesome because my husband loves those. And then we put a willow tree in over there, which we babied the hell out of because we both really, we had always dreamed of having a willow tree. It's funny, it was a childhood dream of mine, and when my husband and I started dating, he told me it was a childhood dream of his to have a willow tree, and I was like, oh my God, it was so meant to be. So, so we have our willow tree, and except he calls it a willer because he's real Southern, and I call it a willow, but, anyways, love that little tree. It's growing great. It's super. But yeah, I would love to try pomegranate again. Every year I try to do something different and then of course repeat the things that I have failed at. So this year one of our repeats is raspberries. I shared a YouTube short just a couple days ago about those guys. Potted them up. They're over here behind the camera and they're doing great. I'm super excited about that so far. I did the video about the peonies that I potted up. They're not really doing anything yet, but you know, to be expected. I just wanted to get them out of their little containers. There is, right here is a citrus tree I potted up yesterday, so there'll be a little short video on that coming soon. It's setting way on the ground. This is a tall, I think it's like 4.5 feet tall. This one is Lemon Meyer. And it came, I ordered it from fastgrowingtrees.com. Yeah, that seed tray over there that's all tomatoes, and it's not quite warm enough for them to germinate, so I'm going to have to rig up some power in here and get my heat trays in here because the tomatoes and the peppers will need that. But our other trays, let me show you those really quick. It'd be easier if the camera wasn't upright. But see, these are the ones we started together in that last video, which was actually filmed maybe almost 2 weeks ago. So I love this part of it. Just like the little tiny babies coming to life. It's so fun. What do we have here? I think these are my cold crops. I got a spider web on me. Yeah, broccoli, cabbage, peas. Gosh, it's so windy here. This has been like the windiest spring we've ever had. It's been crazy. Ooh, Morning Glory pinks. Look at this guy. Can you see that little guy right there? Oh, there we go. Right here. That is so cute. I love it. These are the Cosmos. They just always go gangbusters. The other one I would show you, but it only has one thing coming up. And it is iceberg lettuce, because the rest of it is a lot of tomatoes and peppers, so it's just not warm enough. So are you guys starting any seeds? Excuse me. I will show you my seeds I have to start next. I think I'm going to start these today, probably maybe on this video. We'll just see. So I thought I would show you. It's a lot of herbs because I haven't started any yet. I need to get that over there. I love to start cucumbers as early as possible. Again, something I don't eat because my husband and his girls love to eat them like literally just off the bush. And so he'll always grow them in ground in the garden, but he'll direct sow. And we don't start our in-ground garden until the first week of May, because we always have like a late cold snap. The first weekend in May, it's like historically you can just always count on it. I love nasturtiums. Those are so funny. I remember I filmed a video a couple of years ago. I can't remember if I was starting nasturtiums or if I was potting them up, but I didn't know how to pronounce them. And I mentioned that in the video. I don't even remember what I called them, but it was quite funny. And then I had a lot of comments on the video telling me how to pronounce them properly. That was fun. I never have had those grow like as huge as I see they're able to do. Like, I've just had them get like a foot tall and kind of like sprawl out, but not really like vine. But I've seen other people have nasturtiums like literally climb up stuff. I don't know what mine wasn't getting. But anyway, so I like to start these cucumbers by seed, start them early, beat my husband, and then get them transplanted into the cottage garden. I like to have at least 1 or 2 plants in the cottage garden so that that will be our plant that they literally eat off of. So, because it's close, I mean, that's the whole point of a kitchen garden, right? It's really close to the house, and like literally the kids will walk through and they'll grab a cucumber off of the plant, the vine, and just eat it. And I think that's lovely, and I wish I liked them, but I just don't. And then what we end up doing with the ones that my husband grows in ground, when they're coming in later, then some of them will be fresh eaten, but a lot of them will be used for canning. Because they all love pickles too. I don't like pickles either. I mean, I can can up some good pickles, but I'm not eating them. I don't do vinegar. Like, I can't stand the smell of vinegar. Alright, so on the cucumber front, because they do like eat them raw, my husband is particular about the variety. So his favorite is straight 8. That's his favorite to just like eat out of the garden. And then I'm going to grow some of this again this year. This is the what's it called? National Pickling. And I dropped it. I hate dropping things because I can't reach everything yet. And then this cucumber slicer, which I don't know if that's a variety or what, but My husband is just, he prefers the darker, smooth skin because, you know, some of them are kind of like bumpy. So I'm going to start some of these today. I'm probably going to do just straight 8 because I know that's a winner for him. I'm going to start some jalapeno peppers because in all the peppers I started the other day, it was all sweet peppers just because I couldn't find my jalapeno seeds. And these are called jalapeno early. So I wonder um, how early they really are. But I figured I would try them because I've never tried them before. I have tons of seeds from just like everything. Um, I came across this tomato this morning, which is one I've never tried. It's never been opened. I don't even know when I bought it. But it's called Big Daddy Hybrid. And I thought, hybrids, you know, there could be a whole discussion on this, but like heirloom seeds are cool because it's like a romantic idea about gardening. You know, it's been around forever, and you could say your grandma grew the exact same variety, and it's like a stronger, hardier seed, but it's actually not necessarily hardier because a lot of them are susceptible to diseases. And so you would think that if a seed variety had been grown in Arkansas for 200 years, it would be used to the humidity and the heat that we get in the summer. But some of them just aren't. And a lot of heirlooms, like I've grown a ton of heirloom, especially tomatoes, and I love the idea of them. But unfortunately, the hybrid ones usually perform better because they've like altered the DNA of the plant to make it do that, which also makes me sad because it's like, leave it alone. But you know, so it's like this really weird, frustrating thing to be in. But anyways, I want to try those. And then let's see, my herbs. Okay, so I have white Russian kale, which I've never tried before, but I love kale. I love kale. I will eat it out of the garden. And I grow it every year. It does great. It does super. It loves it. It doesn't mind our weather. But I've never grown the white Russian variety. So thought I would try that this year and see. For herbs, I have cilantro. If you have any tips on cilantro, let me know because it dies every year. The best I've ever done with cilantro was buying a plant from the store that was literally already like 18 inches tall and kind of bushy. I planted it here in the kitchen garden where it would get like part shade, and it was near a plant that actually shaded it out a lot, like a tomato, and it did okay. It survived, and it got a little bit bigger, but that's all it ever did. But every other time I've tried to grow them, either in containers or in ground, it's like they just die from the sun. So I assume they're really sensitive to direct sunlight. But I've never had one just like thrive. So I try every year. And every time I start them from seed, they don't do well. So the one time every time I've ended up growing them, I've actually bought a plant at the store. But I'm going to try again. That's what we do in gardening. We just don't give up. I'm going to do some coriander. One of the reasons why I want to start a lot of seeds this year is because I have been saving dried herbs for a while. Because I love the idea of being like an herbalist. But there's so much to learn. Like there's so much knowledge in plants, you know. And I really love the idea of that, but I'm just not quite there yet. So I have like a beginning apothecary set up in our kitchen. It's shelves on the wall with glass jars, and they're all labeled, and it's different herbs and plants and flowers and things that I've grown and dried. And they're all medicinal, or else I wouldn't have saved them. And so I love the idea of growing more herbs all the time and just drying whatever I can and learning whatever I can about these plants over time, because there's just so much to learn. But I really envision myself in the future as being one of those people that, like, my kids like, oh, my tooth hurts, and me being like, let me go find the plant on the shelf that will ease your problems. And I thought of the toothache one because I don't remember if I ended up ordering it or not, but I saw a seed packet on Etsy. I love buying seeds on Etsy because it's from other people like me who are growing and saving seeds. And it was called the toothache plant. And it's a flower. But it looked really weird. And I thought that would be so fun to grow because it looks so weird. but I don't know if I ordered it or not. But it is herbal, and it's used for a toothache. They said you would just pull the flower bud off and stick it on a tooth, and it has a numbing effect only on the mouth. Like if you put it on your skin, it doesn't numb anything, but in your mouth, it would just numb it. Like, that's cool. Need some of that. So I need to look and see if I order that. Have you heard of that? that is nifty. Okay, so I've got coriander. That's one that I don't know if it has a medicinal purpose, used more for foods. I'm going to do some peppermint in containers, of course. Dill, I try to grow every year, and just the same as like with cilantro, I tend to just have problems with it doing well. So I don't know. You were going to recommend what plant? Oh, moringa. I've grown one of those before in Arizona. I wonder what zone they are. Oh, the toothache plant. Oh, I've got to make a reminder for myself. And I use my phone to like literally remind myself of everything, so I'm going to write it down. This year I decided to go with a physical journal, because I've always kept up with what I'm doing in the garden. Like, this is the first day I started seeds. This was all the ones I started and the date. And because, I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised, but it's very easy to forget what you put where. Just like the flowers I have coming up on the side of our porch, which we'll have to move because the deck's going there. But my husband is leaving them as long as possible, because this is their second year. They came up, they're a perennial, obviously. They came up last year. They got about 6 inches tall, and just cute little green, healthy looking plants. But there's like 20 or 30 of them in this little swatch of an area. And I knew I threw out seeds there, but I couldn't remember what they were. They died back. They came back this year, and this year they're even bigger. They're like 2 feet tall, and they're like trying to bud up, and I have no idea what they are. And so I tried to write stuff down. I would know what that was, except because it was done 2 years ago, I would have made a note in my Google Calendar. And when my old YouTube channel was hacked and stolen, they did that by stealing my Gmail. And when they stole my Gmail, they stole my calendar and literally like my whole life. So it was so terrible. So all my garden notes from like everything prior, like I could have gone into my Google Calendar before and like searched like rose, and I could have found a note for every time I bought or transplanted a rose, what variety it was, where I put it, etc. Now that's all gone, and I'm trying to lean off of technology, so this year it's a notebook. So I'm going to look up and see if I order the toothache seeds. If not, I will. And I'm going to research the moringa, because I grew that tree in Arizona, and I've heard it's really good. Like, you can eat all parts of it, right? Leaves, little stems, like it's all really good for you health-wise. And mine would grow really fast. It was a really fast-growing one. And I just had it planted in the ground. My dog is so crazy. Okay. All right, so, oh, that's what I was talking about, dill. This one is hard for me to start to, like, same as cilantro. Like, the seedling itself has a real hard time. But again, I still try every year because, one, it's really pretty. It's a really pretty plant. It is also medicinal. I just love seeing it in the garden. The way it heads up when it starts to flower. Which, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, when your herbs flower, they're no longer any good. I don't care. If it's pretty, I love to see it. Like, I'm not, you know, I try to harvest it when I see it start to flower. But, because we do canned pickles every year for my husband and his girls, I like to grow dill. Because, like, it's one thing, you've got like a clutch of cucumbers, and you've got all your herbs and spices, and you have to go to the store and buy dill to can pickles. And it's like, this is stupid. Like, I should just grow dill. I did buy a dill plant last year. Same as that recent cilantro. I put it in the kitchen garden in a kind of tucked away spot where it wasn't in direct sunlight, and it actually did good. So I'm hoping The placement has been the issue, and I can get these seedlings to jump off. That'd be great. I've got cumin, which I've literally never grown. I've tried so many times. This is from M.I. Gardener from 2018. That's how long I've had these seeds. But of course, you know, they're good as long as you store them properly. So anyways, and then borage is also medicinal. Sweet cucumber flavor. So the one thing I feel like I've done like successfully with having like a, what is it called? Edible landscaping. I love the idea of edible landscaping. And when I was in real estate, this was a trend that I was starting to see out in the desert a lot more of, and maybe it was just where I was looking because I was following like desert gardening and permaculture and everything. But there were like a lot of people using like artichokes as like shrubbery in their front yard because the artichoke plant, it gets so big and bushy, you know, like a big shrub. And then it produces artichokes, which is super cool. And I love that idea. So when, you know, I started planting plants here at this house, let's see, my husband and I got married in December of 2020. 12/12/2020. That's our anniversary because I'm a number nerd. And so it would have been 2019 when I started planting stuff here. We weren't even engaged yet. And I was like, I'm going to plant some flowers in your yard. And that's how I knew he was the one, because he let me. So I would literally come over here and like garden in his yard because I lived in a rental house and I was kind of bummed that there was like certain things that I couldn't do that would be permanent. Like perennial landscaping. So I just literally landscaped his house. So when I started doing that and I added the shade garden and I added the flower bed that's actually the chicken coop, which if you've been here for a while, then you've seen it many times when we used to have chickens. Oh, it's so loud when I turn down. I'm sorry. I hope it's not annoying. Okay, the chicken coop is right there. And okay. See, there it is. There's a chicken coop. And then our run over that. The run I planted, what is it called? Oh, it's a beautiful vine. Wisteria. It has wisteria over it. And it took years to finally flower. It started flowering last year. But I did an herb bed by the side of it because I envisioned them growing so much that the chickens could like put their little beaks through and eat the herbs. And so one of them, one that's actually survived years without any assistance from me, is wormwood, which is a wonderful medicinal plant for humans and animals. It's like a natural dewormer for animals. That, you guys, that shrub, I'm gonna have to film like a YouTube short just showing you guys that here soon, because I really need to prune it. It is literally like 8 feet around. Like, it's 8 feet, it's huge, because I keep forgetting to prune it back. The rest of my perennial herbs I usually prune back in the fall or in early spring, and that one I just haven't for years, so it's humongous. But some other perennial herbs that I think are great for edible landscaping is I have lemon balm in a couple different places. It does so well, like it just doesn't need anything from anybody. And then lemon balm, what is that one? I almost grabbed it. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to remember what it is. This is one of those moments I usually edit out of my videos because I can't remember something. But anyway, so my point was just that it's always in the back of my mind to continue to be adding perennial medicinal plants to the landscape because I want to have that edible landscaping vibe. The flower bed that we have in front of the front yard that runs along our road is roses, some boxwood evergreens to have some greenery up there, But then I have like 9 different herbs that are all perennials. And of course, because they're like newer perennials, they've all been on the small side. Like I've got creeping thyme and some random succulent in there. But anyways, that bed looks crazy ugly right now because I've not been able to weed anything. And this is the time of year when weeding is like, okay, Liz, everything is coming back to life. It's time to like pull all the stuff you don't want, and I can't do any of that yet. And so I'm one of those people, because I'm a little bit OCD and a whole lot of ADD. When I walk by something that I don't like, it bothers me. It really bothers me. And my husband is not like that. He'll be like, oh, okay, I'll do that later. It just kind of carries on with his life. For me, it lives in the back of my brain, constantly stressing me out. And so I have to remind myself, it's okay. It's okay. The weeds are going to just, they'll be fine. And I'll pull them eventually, and it's whatever. But um, it does stress me out. And we got lots of weeds going right now. All right, so we're like 36 minutes in. So I think I'll go ahead and pot up these banana trees. Look at this cute little guy I got at Dollar General. He's like a, what do you call that? Well, he looks like Cousin It with a big nose. But then he's wearing like a grass crown and a succulent. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's so freaking cute. My husband's like, you buy the weirdest things. And I'm like, I buy things that bring me joy, period. Period. That bring me joy. Just a lot of things happen to bring me joy. So let's get this camera adjusted. I need to stand up anyways and pick up these seeds I dropped. Hopefully I can do that. It's a slow descent for me. Okay. Poor seeds I dropped, and the ground is damp, so these guys just needs to dry out so these don't start to germinate on us. Alright, so I've got my pot, and I've got some soil here. I guess, I think that would be plenty big enough, because you see that they're going to have like a lot of room to grow, so. Anyways, can anyone Google and see what zone moringa can live in? I wonder. I don't know why, but this year I'm like insanely aware of the idea that there could be a snake in my potting soil bag when I open it. I don't know why. I hate snakes. And also, I think of them every time I walk in the greenhouse, because this is not like a snake-proof greenhouse. Because this area was not like 100% level, so when we did the frame and my husband was leveling it, the back is like this far off the ground. And so when I actually started using the greenhouse, we brought in mulch, and we just mulched this back part to like fill the gap, because I was not retaining heat in here. Which has solved that problem. But you know, snakes can just go through mulch. So it just, every time I walk in the greenhouse, I'm like looking everywhere, because snakes we have here are like the color of the mulch, you know. And if you've been here for a while, you know I had a scary, traumatic moment with a snake in September of 22, October, with what's it called? Woodland rattler. Anyways, rattlesnake was behind me in the cottage garden over there, and I stood up, and it was like, I don't know, 6 or 8 feet behind me, moving in the opposite direction, but he was like 4 or 5 feet long. And I did not set foot in that garden for a whole year. I literally did not go back out there. I hate snakes. I hate even thinking about it. Anyway, so I'm just gonna get this stuff in here. I've been trying to think too, like, what can I grow in the greenhouse all year long. Like, I've wanted to grow a vanilla vine, because I think they need like zone 9 or 10. And I've actually tried it once before. So maybe that's something else I need to put on my list, because now I have a much better greenhouse set up. I just don't know if it'll get too hot. We do have, thankfully, so like right next door is our black shed that we bought recently. I can't remember, in the last year. And then in front of that is like our carport shed. Our carport shed has power in it, and this black shed that we bought was a used one, so we got a better deal on it. But someone was going to make it into like an actual workshop, so they actually have electric outlets in it, and then like the hole in the conduit ran like on the bottom edge. But then of course when they like repoed it or whatever, they pulled out whatever that was. But so all the setup is there for us to just run electric from one shed to the other. So if we did that, that would be super, because, which my husband's capable of doing that. We've talked about it, and we will eventually do it. But what will be cool is here soon, when my seedlings start getting a little bit taller, I'm going to need to have a fan in here. Because, you know, you gotta move your seeds to make them strong. And that's another pro tip that I finally learned after many years. And so so I need to be able to get some power out here. Moving my petunias out, I kind of flood watered them right before we started this video, and one of them is like not happy with its life. Anyway, so yeah, so I need to get some, if I get a power cord from the black building to here, which is only like a few feet away, then I can set up a stand fan, and that would help for anything that's trying to live in the greenhouse over winter. I do have these 2 window vents. You can't see them, but I'm touching them. However, when Riley put the greenhouse together for me, which, can you imagine that? If you've started watching me when I started my channel, Riley was like 8. And Riley will be 20 this year. Isn't that crazy? It's so crazy. I can't believe I have a 20-year-old almost. Another thing on that subject, super ADD moment, but like, how sad is it that these young adults can't move out? Like, they just can't afford to move out. That is so insane. Riley works almost full time. He pays for his car, his insurance, his phone, his gas, his food, and like some gaming stuff he wants to pay for. He's very frugal, and he could not afford to like pay rent anywhere. And he works almost full time. Poor kid. I'm like, I don't even know if going to college will help them out any more than that, you know, like, that, it's just a bummer. But on that same front, I'll go ahead and share it because it's exciting. But Connor, my youngest, he just turned 18 very recently. He finished his high school diploma. Yay! He was doing a homeschool online program through Penn Foster High School Online. So he finished. Diploma's coming in the mail. So he turned 18. A week later, finished his diploma. And then 3 days later, got his first job, because he had been applying for jobs for like a year and a half. And nobody would hire him. They kept saying, you know, need to be 18, whatever. And I told him, I said, just focus on your schoolwork. And let's just get that done. And then his birthday lined up with his graduation or completion of the program. All lined up at the same time. And so he's door dashing. So today's his second day doing DoorDash. He has to drive to the big town over, which is 45 minutes away, but he loves driving. He loves his car. And he's really enjoying it. So, I mean, he's not going to get rich or, you know, accomplish a lot with DoorDash. But I think it's a really great job for kids who, you know, need something that's like not demanding. It's super flexible. He can do it any time. It was really cool looking at the app with him the other day, trying to figure out how it all worked, because you literally just like schedule yourself and let them know like what town you're going to be in, and you can work any town, anytime. So, yesterday was his first day, and he made like $55 and got like a $5 tip, and he was so stoked. And it's like, cool, dude. So he went in earlier today to try and see if he can catch the earlier lunch rush because he worked lunch to dinner time yesterday. So anyway, that's fun. I can't remember what I was saying before, some sort of ADD moment, but let me show you. Ooh, I'm sorry. I know I've seen in videos how horrible that sounds. So here are my little banana guys. Look how cute they are. Like, just very cute. I hope they straighten up. I feel like this is not from shipping. This is like they've been grown this way. Maybe they were grown in like a tray where it was like really super full or something. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant them at an angle so that they're actually upright. Help them straighten up. Yeah, because that will... Yeah, that looks good. I don't know if you can see that. So they're kind of being here all touching, but that's okay. So just so you know, whenever I got these in, you know, they just came in the mail. I just sat them in this bowl with some water in the bottom so they would just soak up a little moisture, but they weren't really dry or anything. They came really well. And these again were from Amazon, which, you know, hit or miss there. I have later this month, my cold hardy avocado tree is coming. I'm really excited about that because it's going to go in the yard in our new orchard, which is on the side of the yard where our pool is, where our new deck is, where we have water, and where my old shade garden was. So the shade garden has come up, deck's going down. I'm going to replant the majority of the shade garden around the deck. But then we added a peach tree over there because I can see it out the kitchen window. So I can watch its progress, keep an eye on it, and close to water. And that's where the banana trees are going, and that's where the avocado tree is going. And it's a cold hardy avocado, so it can live outside and still fruit, which is great. And it's a variety that fruits by year 3. So I think there's a chance it could fruit this year, which would be super. All right, let me work with this soil. One thing I've actually not ordered yet, I've been trying to like make a list and look at my list of everything I need to order for either seed starting or online, because I could literally just like buy plants year round, but I gotta control myself somehow, which is hard sometimes because I want all the plants. But there they are. Yay! How cute! Where are we gonna put you? I'm running out of room for stuff. Let's see. I can't remember what I was saying. That's the problem with interrupting myself. That will work. There's where it ended up at. I have this little water I just brought in from the house. This is actually for my house plants, but I brought it in to water my raspberry plants because they're in a self-watering can, so they have or container, so they have this little spout thing on the bottom. And I needed something small like this to actually water it. So that'll be fun. Hopefully that does well. But anyway, so we're going to research vanilla vines as well. Let's see, we're at 49 minutes. So I definitely don't want to go over an hour. Making a note. Do they plant? Oh, and vanilla vine. Yeah. So, and I've got these. Oh, what I was talking about. Yeah, this is my normal life. Okay. So, what I was talking about is ordering stuff online. is I wanted to try to be organized this year and literally like make my list of what I wanted, order things online, and then stop the spending because it can be out of control. Look at these Glads. Look how pretty. Are you trying to bud up yet? Nope, not yet. So they're doing okay living in here. But anyways, these are so pretty. Remember the year I bought black gladiolas from online? I'm pretty sure they were just like this. Because if I recall, I grew them in the raised beds in the kitchen garden. And this says it's Gladiolus Espresso. But it's just like a really deep purple. I got them in here because I don't know where I want to put them. So I need to, and again, that down on the ground and digging and stuff is just not something I can really do yet. So I'll try to get them in the ground before they start trying to sprout in here. But anyways, so I have my list. This is back to the same ADD topic. I have my list of everything I wanted to grow this year, and I was trying to be really organized about it. And so I went through my Facebook garden photo albums, okay, for the last 5 years. I went through, well, ever since I began gardening. So I went through every single photo, which was thousands of photos, okay, and made a list of something that I really wanted to grow again, because that was something that I would get like halfway through the garden season. Like last year, I didn't grow any lantana. And I got halfway through the summer and was like, oh my God, I'm not growing any lantana this year. I love lantana. Like, oh my God, I missed that opportunity because I didn't think about it. And I obviously just didn't happen to be in a retail store where they had some where I would have bought it, because I love lantana. And it's just such a low fuss plant. And it does really well here. And there's a spot in my front flower bed where I've literally had one every year but last year. And so like it missing from that spot, you know, like I noticed the difference. So I decided to make myself a reminder on my calendar late December, early January, to spend some time going through all of my previous gardening photos, make a list of everything I want to grow. So I did that this year, made a list. I have a list of plants I still need to buy at retail, but they're not out yet. They're summer annuals. And then I had some seeds come in, which I don't think I showed you guys. Oh, this was one of them. Came in from Etsy, and it's a golden trumpet vine. So when I was doing my planning, I was trying to figure out what I could grow on this back arch here in the cottage garden, because I've never grown anything on it. It just went in last year. It went in later, but I wanted something really cool. And when we were at that the old cottage house in Batesville, there was a yellow trumpet vining plant over the pergola there, and I really loved it. So that's what that is. So I'm going to start that by seed, but then in my hummingbird mix, the red trumpet vine came in there. So I've got both of those. I'm going to grow another vine on the second arch in the cottage garden. I can't remember now what that is. I debated doing kiwi, but you have to have a male and a female. And again, I like kiwi, but not that much. So I passed on that idea. But anyway, so on that list, I only have a couple more seeds I need to order online. Everything else I need to like wait to get in. The last tree I have coming is the last tree we'll put in this year. My husband about killed himself planting this huge gold cypress, gold something cypress that we recently got. It's huge. The thing probably weighs 120 pounds. It was a monster of a tree, and it's gonna get huge. I didn't even think about how big it would get, but anyways, it's gonna get big. And my husband had a really hard time planting that one, and he looked at me when he was done and he was like, no more trees. Honey, you have our yard full, no more trees. And I was like, well, the avocado tree is coming, and there's room for where I want to put it, and that will round out our little mini orchard up there, because we have an apple. Our second apple died. We replaced it with a peach, and then we're adding the avocado. And right near that are 2 fruit trees he's had for like 10 years, but they don't fruit. So there is a pear and a plum. And the pear doesn't fruit at all. The plum will fruit and then drop the fruit before it's mature, and then animals eat it. So I've tried many things. I've tried fertilizing it. I've tried additional watering, so many things, and it just drops fruit every year. So that's a bummer. So it's really just like an ornamental tree. But anyways, so technically we'll have 5 fruit trees over there, all close to like the pool and the house and everything. So that's really nice. We're at like 56 minutes, so I don't think I'm going to start seeds with you guys in this video, but I am going to start seeds today. So I'll do it after this video. But just wanted to, I guess, wrap up and say I look forward to doing this every Friday. I will try to have some like kind of activities planned that I'll do like while we're here together, but definitely look forward to getting together with more people and answering questions. And I love, like, I don't know how to say that. I love answering questions. I love being of service and helping people and explaining anything I might know. I mean, of course, I could always just not know the answer. And if I don't, I'd be really honest about that. But in general, I really enjoy that. And so I guess also when we do these live videos every Friday, we'll take a look at the seedlings and see how they're doing every week, because that'll be fun. Sure, I would love any seeds. Do you follow me on Instagram? Because if so, you can direct message me there. DM me. I feel like a young person if I say DM. I'm like, fuck, I'm too old for that. Anyways, on Instagram, my name is just, I think it's Elizabeth H. Ritchie instead of Elizabeth Ritchie. But if you find me on there, you can message me there and I will give you my address. I don't think I even have our P.O. box in the YouTube video description anymore. But for sure, I'm trying to be more on Instagram lately because I've mentioned this in other videos, my life has changed a lot lately. I have a lot more time freedom, which is a wonderful, glorious, beautiful thing. And so if I could have my heart's desire, it would be to be a full-time creator and to be doing this all the time. Like making community, doing videos, being on Instagram, whatever. And so I've hired an actual social media manager who is helping me. She's also helping to promote my freelance book, but she's doing multiple things for me. And that's been wonderful because I don't enjoy or like any of that stuff, but I've been told what to do, and so I'm doing it. And one of those things is doing Instagram Reels daily, doing YouTube Shorts 4, 5, 6 times a day, trying to grow my audience that way. And so far, we've seen a lot of success with those things, which is wonderful. And I enjoyed doing that. I never thought I would enjoy doing like 60-second videos, but I really have. So anyways, so I'm looking to do that more and find more people to help and more people to learn from, and wonderful. So I mentioned that to say that you will find me a lot more active on Instagram than I had ever been before, because like I said, I'm trying to do a reel a day and a picture post like at least every other day. And so you can also direct message me there, and I will respond. And so anyways, yeah, so I think we're going to end here because we're almost at an hour, which is crazy. My cute puppy is walking around outside. And I will see you guys in the next video, which our next video is about the tummy tuck journey, and the next one after that will be about gardening again. And just in case if you guys are here watching and you like the gardening content and you could care less about the tummy tuck content, there's only a couple more videos in that series, and then it'll really just be like a 3-month update and a 6-month update and a 12-month update. And so really around, like, I guess early May, the channel will transition to like mostly garden content again, which I'm so excited about. But I really wanted to film this plastics journey because I've watched other people's journey on YouTube for like 15 years. And it's been so helpful for me. So I wanted to share my perspective as well. And it's really evergreen content that people can continue to find years and years and years in the future. And hopefully it will help them. So that's what we're doing. Anyways. And if I seem winded at all, I hope that's not annoying to you. I have a binder around my waist. And so I can't like get like a full breath. And that's just kind of part of it for now. So thank you for being here. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I look forward to your message on Instagram, and I will talk to you guys later.